Welcome back to another episode of BluffCityGrub. People don't realize how easy it is to cook bratwurst.
We're going to show you the perfect way to cook bratwurst every time. Greg, when I first started cooking brats, one of the first things someone taught me was that they're done when the casing splits. Turns out that's a mistake. If people knew how easy it was to cook beer brats, they would cook them more often.
Today we're going to give you some of the best tips on how to cook the juiciest brats you've ever had. There's a ton of different ways people cook brats. You smoke them, you can fry them, you can saute them, you can do them on a flat top, you can do them on a fire roasted grill. Doesn't matter. We're going to be cooking brats Bluff City style today. We're going to be doing layers of flavor. We got a little bit of Memphis fireside beer with some nice standard Johnsonville brats, and we're going to show you how to do the best beer brats you ever had.
If you like some of our tips today or learned something new, be sure to click that subscribe button, comment, and like.
All right, so we're going to show you how to caramelize onions today. When you cut an onion, one of the most dangerous things in the kitchen is things that roll. So what I like to do is go for the opposite of the root end, dig the point of the knife into right there the tip of the onion, and just slice that side off. Now it's flat. Now it's not rolling anymore. You cut right through the middle of the root, and then we're going to peel the onion. You want to leave the root end on. If you don't, it'll start to bleed, and then you'll start to cry a lot when you're cooking. That releases the sulfur. What you want to do is you want to come here. You want to kind of make slices all the way down the onion, just like that. And you don't want to make them too thick. Probably about a half an inch, quarter of an inch thick. But just go down the onion all the way a little bit before the root to the other end of the onion, like that.
See, that root's kind of holding it together for you.
Yeah, the root's going to hold it together. That way it doesn't make it too difficult to slice the onion. All right, and then at the end, you just want to come down and cut the root off, just like that. Now all your onions are going to be nice and separated. You just pull them apart. Got a couple more onions here to go. Cut the root end off. Now all of them are broken up. All right, we got all our onions cut up here. We're just going to go ahead and get them separated here. You cut that root end off. These things flake pretty easily, but you have nice, quarter of an inch, half inch slices of onion here. Perfect for caramelizing.
Greg, I see you got 4 onions. That's an awful lot. Is that a problem?
No, I mean, with the onions here, they're going to break down. Like, I've done this a couple of times, and I've made mistakes on, not using enough onions. You want to use a decent amount of onions, especially if you're feeding a crowd and you want to put caramelized onions on whatever dish you're making.
All right, Greg, we're going to be making some beer brats today, and these things are super easy. If people knew how easy beer brats were, they would probably make them more often. The biggest thing to beer brats is we don't want to break the casing. That's how we're going to seal in all the juices. So we're going to go out with just a nice 12-ounce beer. Of course, this is Bluff City style, so that means it's a Memphis-made fireside. Now it's very simple. We got some salt, garlic, and pepper, all 1 teaspoon each. Just going to put those in there, mix them up. Now we're just going to gently toss these brats in here. We're just looking for enough to cover the bottom of the pan, maybe half of the beer brat. That's enough to keep them moist. Now you see we're putting them in a cold pan. If we'd have put them in boiling water, we'd have split these casings. That's one of the big mistakes. Also, one of the mistakes would be throwing these directly on the hot grill over the flames. That would also split the casing. So everything we're doing is to keep these casings intact, keep all the moisture in, good flavor at the end. So these guys are ready to go on. Now I could just toss these on top of the coals. That would be a mistake. This beer would come to a rolling boil and split the casings. We're going to put them on indirect heat and just let them cook all the way till they get an internal temperature of 160.
All right, so we got our onions in our pan here. What you just need to do is take probably about 2 tablespoons of oil and just drizzle it on top of the onions. And we're gonna let these sit for a minute.
Yeah, how long will this take to cook totally, Greg?
You're probably looking at about an hour cook, really. I mean, 45 minutes to an hour.
All right, we've been cooking about 20 minutes. These brats are starting to warm up, and you can see we got that nice slow boil or slow steam. Should I go ahead and flip these over? Notice how we haven't split any of the casings yet. That's fantastic. That's what we're looking for. Now, some people may want to poke these with a fork to keep them from splitting. That's a mistake. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to sacrifice one of these because we're looking for 160. We're just going to see where we're at. We're about 130, so another 20 minutes to go or so. And you can see here, once you poke it, that it starts to leak out all the juices, so this is the one we're going to sacrifice today. These brats are about ready. Like we said, what we're looking for is, you can see none of the casings are split. That means they're holding all the moisture in. And then we're looking for 160, 62. These guys are ready to go ahead and brown up. And we're going to go ahead and put these right here directly over the fire. We're just trying to sear them up a little bit. Now we're going to have to rotate these pretty often to keep them from burning. Some people might want to prick them to keep them from exploding. That's a mistake. We want to keep all those juices in, so we're going to be rotating these pretty quick just to brown up some. We're going to try to get all 4 sides if we can. Some of these are starting to split. Of course, that's what we're not looking for. But that's okay. We'll just give those to the people we don't like. This is exactly what we're looking for here. Nice color, no splits in the casings. Those are going to be the best. Now you can actually just sit these in the beer and wait until it's time to serve them. They'll stay nice and warm off to the side, no problems. So I'll put all my split casings over here to the side. We'll give those to the people we dislike. No problem there. All right, these will be ready when our onions are ready.
All right, make sure you turn the temperature up to medium. We'll make sure you get these onions browned. All right, add a little bit of sugar to it. Sprinkle a little bit of sugar right there on top of it. It's going to help with the caramelization process. All the caramelized onions. Probably about a tablespoon of sugar should be good. All right, so we're about 45 minutes in now. And you can see the onions are finally starting to get a little bit of color on them. They're not quite there yet. The bottom of the pan is starting to get a little bit of brown. But we're going to let these guys roll for probably about another 20 minutes or so. They should be nice and brown. Make sure you scrape the bottom of the pan and make sure nothing burns up here. And get all those little good bits off the bottom. Make sure you stir it up really good.
How often are we stirring here, Greg?
Probably about every 5 minutes or so. All right, so we got our onions. They're nice and caramelized now. They're about done. Looking good. They're nice and wilted. Looking good. We're gonna go ahead and deglaze the onions. So I got a little bit of tequila here. I mean, you can use pretty much whatever you want. A little bourbon, a little vodka, some with a little alcohol in there. What about a shot at the bottom of the pan there? What you want to do is get the good bits off of the bottom of the pan. That's where all the flavor is. It's the whole purpose of deglazing. All that good stuff.
Okay, we've got the beer brats and the onions done. Remember, the ones that busted, we want to make those up first. Those are for the friends that we don't like.
I don't know, this Bratwurst is looking really good, Joe. And I can smell the smoke from the grill coming off of them.
Well, Greg, looks like they're ready for you, buddy.
I'm gonna make a party out of these right here.
Greg, these beer brats are really easy to make. All we did was throw them on the grill, let them simmer in some beer bath, and after they reach 160, we just seared them up for a little color and they're ready to go. Of course, we spent a little time on the onions.
You can put whatever condiments you want on there. I like mustard on mine. Best way to do it. Man, I really want to eat that one right now.
If they don't like mustard and onions, they can go down the street, eat Wendy's.
I think Wendy's is closed.